In the quest for companies to get the most out of every asset in this go fast right now world, monitoring and tracking have become a way of life. We can track the status of our packages at almost any point across the e-universe, from the seller to our doorstep. In some cases, we know exactly where that item is in its journey to us. While there are cameras, sensors, and tracking software all over the place, how closely can a company track or monitor its own employees?
Too close.
Well, I can argue both ways of this. Now, obviously, what we're talking about, and this was particularly ominous, I think, because these weren't just cameras. These were artificial intelligence enhanced cameras. Now, what we're talking about is that Amazon has put these cameras into some of their third-party delivery company trucks. And those AI cameras are designed to recognize and respond to some 16 different things. They argue, violations or traffic issues or a driver getting sleepy or something like that.
Yawning.
Yawning.
I got sleep last night and I was yawning at 9 a.m. this morning. So this thing, according to the article, would either try to get me to pull over for 15 minutes or my manager might call me and tell me to pull over for 15 minutes.
And they're hypocrites.
And that seems like, first of all, we'll get to that in a second, because that seems like, that's good. They're looking out for their tired drivers. But like, yawning isn't even necessarily correlated with sleepiness.
Okay, let's back up a minute and
on
talk
top
about
of how many hours they're working.
Let's talk about the fact that anytime a company, at least in my humble opinion now, anytime that a company is equipped with ways to monitor their employees, one, they always want more. So it's going to be used as a productivity issue. Trust me, it is. Two, now it says that the drivers have the ability to turn the camera off, but I'm willing to bet money.
Yeah, how often? When?
They'll be under pressure not to.
Yeah.
They'll be under considerable pressure. Why did you turn the camera off? Well, I turned the vehicle off. Why did you turn the camera off? And then finally, and they owned up to it towards the end of the article, but the minute I read this, I said, okay, since it's got 4 cameras, 1 on the driver, 1 in front, and 2 on the sides, which means it can film stuff around the vehicle, which has nothing to do with the vehicle itself, which means how long is it going to be before law enforcement is going to want to subpoena the information from that vehicle, even if it involves something that theoretically is not necessarily breaking the law? When does this become surveillance as opposed to that? So there's that. Now, backing up a little bit, and I'm going to read this. It says the cameras are equipped with artificial intelligence software capable of detecting 16 different safety issues, including if drivers fail to stop at a stop sign, distracted driving, speeding, hard braking, and whether the driver is wearing a seatbelt. I'm sorry, if somebody pulls in front of the truck and I lock up the brakes, that's not my fault. Just saying. Now, and then they said that one of these drivers in Kentucky said the cameras can also detect when the driver is yawning. Here's the creepy part. If that's not enough, now it says that it doesn't record audio. It doesn't record audio, but certain safety violations will cause the camera to issue an audio alert. That's creepy, such as maintain safe distance, no stop detected, and please slow down. I would quit.
Yeah.
That's too far, as far as I'm concerned. I understand the need, and there's some need for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an asset. They're responsible. There could be legal ramifications if the driver misbehaves, and we've all seen the YouTube and videos of, delivery drivers mistreating people, stuff, that's caught on their Ring cameras and stuff like that. So, there's some argument, but there's no federal laws regulating this, no rights that the driver has, that what if what you see is only part of the story of what actually went down, causing the driver to do whatever they did.
Yep. And as we will reiterate, America is especially vulnerable to these, what they do with your data once they collect it. California just passed something that's a lot stronger, and we're hoping that gets, pushed to more states. But in Europe, they have a lot more,
They're more aggressive about individual rights.
Yep, you can tell them to get rid of data after a certain amount of time, and we don't have that here, so it's something we have to...
The right to be forgotten. We've talked about that on this show repeatedly, and we've also talked about the only state in the 50 that even is started to even attempt to address this is California.
Yeah.
And may I underline attempt
Yep.
to address this.
I can't get over because I think when you thought of futuristic societies where everything was being filmed, you thought of cameras on every corner, not delivery
there.
not delivery vehicles with cameras on them that happen to be everywhere already. So they're moving cameras.
And how long will it be before they do add recording of sound? They say they don't now, but to me, I think it's going to be pushed for both legitimate reasons and not legitimate reasons, because the video without the sound may tell a story that with the sound may make sense. Or, I just see more wrong with this because I don't see that the driver has any recourse. And in fact, the article even goes as far as saying that the drivers didn't have any choice, that if they didn't agree to this, they couldn't drive. And I'm sorry, there's no rights. There's no statement of these are your rights. If we use this, this is your ability to have recourse. Should we make a decision? There's none of that. So it's basically what the camera says, and assuming that the camera and whatever the AI, assuming that it's functioning right. We already know there's issues with face recognition when it comes to people of color with this stuff superimposed on this. And most of these drivers are people of color. So how messed up is this going to be?
And this comes around a time where they're catching some heat for not really approving of some workers trying to unionize in certain states too, and pushing back against
federal
it.
law. People, I'm just saying, it's just I see more wrong than right.